A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunava Chaudhary, and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. It's the 12th of June, 2025. It's another Indian football discussion on this platform. And a lot to once again to talk and discuss about in regard to Indian football. The blame game is on. Even I have put out a few tweets on those things, which I think, again, it's very, very simplistic from people to just put the blame on others and don't really introspect and make some, accountability. And it's something as that. And at the start, I did a separate video on that topic. The Indian football, I named it the Indian football blame game. Do watch it. I think I try to figure out a few things on that front. So therefore for that is important, and other things as well. And I'd like to start off with, if you're watching this maybe even later, but you're liking the conversation, you're liking what we're talking about, do leave a like behind, do leave a share behind so other people can potentially join us. And of course, if you haven't, to subscribe to the channel. And before I get into the football part, I think most of you, maybe not most of you, all of you will have heard about the tragic plane accident in Ahmedabad earlier today. A Boeing 7878 of Air India crashed, and looks except one passenger, all have died, and people on the ground have died as well. So my condolences to those who have died, all of those who have been injured, and of course respect to all those who are working on the ground. I know it is very, very tough, and also to those of us who've flown with this kind of an aircraft. Flying is relatively safe, but some way or the other, these things can sadly happen, and reminds you that you're dependent on technology and of course potentially human error as well. So my condolences and best wishes to those who have been injured. Now let's get into the football part of it, which I guess we also need condolences and best wishes. AIFF asks, thoughts on Bajaj's video exposing Chobe, how much is relevant? Facts seem pretty solid. AIFF, I have not seen the video. I don't watch things that this gentleman puts out, very simply. And even if the facts are true, why not then put it to higher authorities who will act on it, right? Why are you, my question to all those who put out stuff on social media, why don't they go to the concerned authorities and raise red flags? Why don't they put it to the AIFF Ethics Committee? Why don't you raise it with the AFC or the AFC Ethics Committee? Why don't you go to FIFA and FIFA Ethics Committee? Then the question is, are those facts then as solid as people claim to be? And that is my concern with all these things, that have been claimed, because none of these things, sadly, I also say, I do think that there is corruption in the AIFF and in the system. But if all these allegations that also been made by XYZ in the last few days, if all of them are true, why not raise it with the concerned authorities, and then they take action? Very simple. So therefore, I can make statements here against XYZ. I can say, I don't know, whatever, this person did this, that person did that, the third person did that. I can make all those statements and allegations. But the problem at the end of the day is that you would have to prove it to a higher authority. If you have proof, then go ahead. Kumar says, Michael was ripped to flight passenger medical doctor students in hostel. Yes, as I said, Showcast says ripped to people lost their lives in the aircraft disaster. Yep, Showcast. Hi, Kumar. Just one question. You still have hope for Indian football? Just a yes or no? Yes. Oritro, if I didn't have some sort of hope, right? Sorry. If I didn't have some sort of hope, would I be doing this? Yeah. If I did not have any hope, I would tomorrow stop interacting with you guys and would say, you know what? I don't care about Indian football anymore. Whatever happens, I'm here. And I will, as long as I can, I will try and fight for Indian football. And therefore, for me, it is also very clear to try and point out to people who are saying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, nice. But what is your positive contribution to the ecosystem? That is my simple question, and that's the problem. Hi, Showcast. Hi, Rushabh. Sorry, where are we? Good evening, Simon. Is Ryan Williams really trying to get Indian passport? I have heard it. Whether he no, someone told me about this 2 weeks ago that he supposedly has applied. And Kumar says yes. Ashish mentioned Ryan Williams applied to Indian. I've been told about this. I honestly don't know. And at the moment, I know Izumi Arata also applied for it and needed 5 years for it. So yeah, he could have applied for it now. But again, it might take him another 3 years to get it. Hi, Blue. Deeply saddened by the Ahmedabad crash. Deep condolences to family members. Yes, Blue. Sir, is the social media chat actually working, or is just a week or two thing and would stop just like before? Simon, the question is, someone needs to act. So the question, yeah. I don't know. I hope it has some impact. Again, that's what I hear, sitting here, can say. But the work that needs to be done doesn't happen on social media. It is relatively easy for you, me, everyone to put out. That's why also when I saw that Parth Jindal tweet and I replied to it, it's very easy to just blame the AIFF. Again, it is very funny. Those of you who've been here now for a while know that all the points that are being mentioned now by people, I have been saying for years, right? I've told people on the face, you are on the wrong path. And people have told me, no, we're not. Yeah. To me, very simple. And it is very easy for Parth to point the finger at the AIFF and not say, you know what, in 10 years that the academy and the system of BFC, 11 years that they are there, have you been able to up the level? No. Right? Even BFC is surviving on a 40-year-old plus Surya Chetri. So I think I need to look at my own, I have to introspect. I need to realize what I'm doing and how I can help the system rather than just making allegations and saying, you did this, you did that. Yeah. That the AIFF is a problem, is a mess, that Manolo is not the right national coach, that the players, there is an issue. All of that is known. But what are you doing to try and rectify it from the outside? We have some influence, right? Have you been able to sort out the things regarding the ISL? So that's the reality. I'd rather move on from the girl I really like than stop supporting Indian football. Rishabh, I've done that in the past, right? And I know people, we've, pushed relationships aside and have really built on supporting Indian football, working Indian football. Sam, Manol leaving that coach. Manol leaving that coach, what do you think another ISL coach somewhere will appoint? Is it going to make a difference? Showcast, again, there are two options at the moment that I think look likely with the given AIFF and the situation that the AIFF finds in. They will either appoint, someone with either ISL background, someone as a foreigner, or they'll make an Indian appointment. And I've clearly stated that I don't think both of them make sense to me. I would bring someone into the system who's totally new, with no cross connections. Bring someone fresh into the system. So therefore, now that Ravi Pushkar, FC Goa CEO, accept the problem, and he's also part of his research threads in Twitter, the correction he wants to make as soon as possible. Kumar, I've seen it. I've replied to it. I compliment Ravi for coming out and being that candid, because Ravi has been the first one of the officials in ISL and I League or club football, let's generalize it, who's actually said, we have inflated the salaries. We have given them this lovely environment. We are not producing better players. And I find it great. This is what you need. This is what you need, right? We need more Ravi Pushkars working in the ISL where they make these statements. Where are XYZ from, especially let's say Mohan Bagani's Bengal? Where are they? Where is Sujay from Mumbai City? Where is the Blasters? Abhi could have come out. Where are the others? So this is what we need. Many people were clicking pics and taking videos of the dead bodies for justice and behavior nowadays. Empathy on engagement. Blue, listen, isn't that the problem that we talk in Indian football? That we realize that people rather listen to this BS than rather listen to substantive things. That's we've been going through this right here in Indian football. People sensationalize things. I've seen, again, you're very right. I've seen stuff which should instantly be blocked by the system. I've seen things which I didn't want to see. And that's been put on my timeline. I can't even pick and choose, right? X works like that these days. Very disturbing, to say the least. RIP to 290 innocent people who lost lives in unfortunate airplane crash. It's very unfortunate. One miracle survived Boeing is all to blame 8 airplane crashes in this year. XYZ, as you do once in a while, you blame without having any proof. This aircraft has never crashed since 2009. So is it a Boeing problem? Do not make allegations without having proof. Let the investigation take its course. Let it find out what the problem is. So that's the reality. Tara, what do you think? Tomorrow is going to be an emotional resignation round where Kalyan Chobit to gain sympathy of fans. Amamonochi is already, so we'll ask for negotiation. Shubhato, I don't know if he's going to resign tomorrow. I don't think he will. I'm skeptical. I might be wrong. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see. I think it is trying to I think the end of the Manolo era might happen tomorrow. And let's see what happens. So how is Ashley Westwood able to beat India every time? Showcast, last time around, it was the Afghan team which wanted to win that game, and they did. And before yesterday, what can I say? We have to blame ourselves, no doubt about it. India has to blame itself for that loss. But, we somehow got it again. And I think a draw would have been a fair result between Hong Kong and India. But again, we saw how bad we were. Hong Kong wasn't better. So don't make Ashley Westwood such a great coach. Sorry. Because one of my very good school friends here in Germany is Hong Kong Chinese. And he said, listen, we won, but we were, and he first sent me 3 emojis with Hong Kong flags and then said, we were just a little luckier than you guys. And I think that's the summary of this game. So therefore, let's see. Boycott Indian football is not a solution. We need to support our team. Actually, that's what I've been saying. We not only need to support our team, we need to support all our teams in that way, all Indian national teams, but we also need to ask questions. So, and so therefore for me, stopping support of the Indian national team, in my opinion, is not an answer. It's not even a solution. So, let's see. Good evening, Kiran Ray. Welcome back. Did you notice suddenly people are questioning Sunil Chhetri for everything? Is India's best bracket came to be academy, or is he AIFF president? Blue, you are one of the people who are able to read through the agendas. Someone was just talking to me about this a little earlier. That where to me, to me it is you have to see through things. I think that's the main thing. We have to see through things and realize what is happening. And you know, and that's the problem. I think you need to now realize who is a genuine source, and who is sort of playing to the agendas of certain people. There are a lot of these people who are playing agendas at the moment, and that's the most disturbing thing, I think, at this moment in time. Biggest problem, I think, for Indian football is this whole message of agendas that people have, and they don't care about Indian football. Let's be very clear. These people don't care about Indian football. They're looking, what are we doing? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? The question is, look at yourself. I think none of these people ever say, I have done something wrong. That's the first thing that these people should do. Before I put out a blame here, I put a blame there. Ask yourself, what have you done for Indian football? And say, I've done this. No, you've not. The failure of the Indian national team is not the failure only of the AIFF and Manolo Marquez. It is the failure of the whole Indian ecosystem. That is the reality. Yeah. Singapore is in the process of giving passport to 2 EFL championship players who are absolutely cooked. I mean, well, let's see. একটু ঝাল করে নীলা ইলিশ খাও সত্যিটা সেরে যাবে সুব্রত okay, so he gave me a hint to eat a certain type of ilish fish, and that will take care of my nose. No, I don't have a cold of any kind. I've got an allergy. So this is something which you get over here in Europe. So it has nothing to do with a cold or anything. It's just hot. Yeah. So therefore, can't change it. Tomorrow, AIFF will give lollipop statements. Actually, I honestly don't know. I don't know if tomorrow will be a turning point and we say afterwards, wow, didn't expect this. Or do we say afterwards, oh yeah, as usual. So therefore I asked, that's why I put out the tweet today. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It says, AIFF Kalyan Chaube has called a press conference tomorrow. What do you all think will be spoken about, what actually should be spoken about? So therefore, I again, it's the AIFF, Whoever next in national team coach will be, all I want is see someone who has international experience, who has balls to deal with FA like AIFF and players with shitty attitudes, like how Constant did. Rushabh, I totally agree with you. Let's see. Why is that? Hannibal, ask him. Ask these people when they blame others. See, look at the agendas that some people have been running over the last few months. This guy, that guy, blah. Everybody to blame. But the people that they're supporting, those people are not to be blamed, right? And those people are even worse. Should be all out of Indian football. Very sad day for Indian aviation. My condolences to the victims, but Air India flights except the new A350s are horrible. I traveled London, Delhi, Kolkata sector last December. It was horrible, no value for money. Shamadri, yeah, once more, my condolences to those who've died in the plane and at that compound on the ground. I can only say that I've traveled from Frankfurt to Delhi and have been flying in India, but I've always traveled. I try and travel premium eco. So therefore, I mostly have traveled actually Vistara rather than Air India, and that's always been good. So why should I lie? So that's my experience. The Ryan thing confuses me. After Ashish's confirmation, Ryan commented by questioning about the source as a reply to a view on Insta, only to delete it. Let's see what happens. Simon, there is a lot of rumors. A lot of things are being thrown around from left, right, center, middle. I don't know. Only if Ryan Williams himself confirmed that he is applying or he has applied. To me, that's the only source I will believe in this. I won't even believe myself. I will only believe if I tell you tomorrow, oh, you know what, Ryan Williams is not. No, I will not believe myself. Because why? Because someone might have given me that info, it might be wrong. I will only accept this piece of information the second Ryan Williams says, you know what, I've actually applied for Indian citizenship. Yeah. So for me is yeah. Let's wait and see how far we can go. Indian women's football team ranked now ranking 70 now. Yeah, actually, listen, we talk a lot, um, about the men's national team, but I think the downfall of the women's team is even more dramatic. About Indian football only. Orithro, yes, but again, on a day like this, I think we need to mention what has happened in Ahmedabad. A lot of people have died. Um, and I think to show compassion, to show that we are with the families of the victims, we are with the people who are trying to clear up that mess, I think makes us human. So therefore, I think we can spend a few seconds in between all our football talks for that. Because as much as we love football, as much as we love Indian football, this is bigger than football. This is about life, right? I mean, just think about the guy who has survived. Just think about, I don't even want to think about the psychology of this gentleman who has been lucky to just survive, and everybody else around him has died. Everybody else around him has died. So I think we can spare a few seconds and a few thoughts about this. Tomorrow press conference, big day. Mike, we will see if it's going to be a big day or not. Yeah, maybe because of what's happened today, then the president says, you know what? Oh, I'm postponing the press conference. Let's do it in a few days. Well, could be. I don't know. This is where we are at this moment in time. You have noticed I'm not Chandrasen for international team propaganda. It's insane. It's Chandrasen start. The thing is, Manur is not even defending himself. Even Ranjan Chaudhary is now coming out with more statements. Oh, my players were all over India. This. It's like, do you know how bad your North 24 Parganas team is? I mean, if I want to, I think I can play against them. Bringing a Santosh Trophy will be tough, but North 24 Parganas with my 7-a-side team, which we played last Friday, I think we can take on you guys, and we could cause you problems, right? That's the level of football, right? And you're saying, that's the problem. Who is right mindset think boycotting AIFF is going to work? We got to go into games live, spend some money if you can encourage kids to play football or just sports in general. Rushabh, those who are calling for the boycott don't understand how sports operates. And my point is very simple. When your team doesn't win, club or nation, the real fans will stick with their club, with their nation, right? So yeah, that's the reality. And I was say, are you ready for AIFF tomorrow's lollipop? Ginger, as I said, I have no expectation of tomorrow. With respect to Khalid, if he will become coach, maybe we will lose Bangladesh with 3 to 5 goals. Blue, yeah, you are with me on this. I don't think an Indian coach is the answer at this moment. I say this, anyone who wants an Indian coach now doesn't understand football. I'll be brutal on this one. Only idiots would say that they would want an Indian coach because the Indian coaches got us here. I think that's the fact we're forgetting. The Indian coaches got us here, right? The big. I have had discussions with the great PK Banerjee, Chuni Goswami. Have you had, on those early tours, the young Ornavo used to have verbal fights with those guys, banter, fun fights. But I used to ask them hard questions. 25 years ago, the young Ornavo used to ask them questions. I said, guys, what have you achieved? Sorry, you achieved nothing. Because the young 23, 24-year-old Ronaldo understood that you guys missed the bus in the 50s and 60s. So that's the reality. Or now, what is the inside sources saying whether football clubs, FS, and others? So, okay, and that's the... If IFM clubs are still illusion and Panama that are investing money into the waste bucket with their player academies and grassroots as product quality. Where is your second one? Leaps and bounds along I-League, second, third division, state league, along with the leagues for clubs should focus bottom to top with quality coaching. The first biggest is age fraud. Kumar, let's start differently. And I ask people this regularly. Do we have an ISL in the summer? Simple question. And at this moment in time, I don't know. Horrible, horrible scenes in Ahmedabad. Condolences to families of the lost lives. The authorities got to find the real reason for this tragedy. Yes, that's what aviation is about. You need to find the mistakes so that, yeah. No way Kalyan Chowb is not going to resign. He's an utter shameless person. As says Monok. Yeah, good evening, Monok. I would be surprised if he does it, but I don't know. Maybe there is some political pressure in the background of which I haven't heard of for him to resign. But yeah, let's see what comes out tomorrow. Dada, do you see any hope regarding tomorrow press conference with this disaster performance? No, I don't. See, Manolo is leaving. Are they doing a proper process? Are the right people in charge? Who's going to decide on this? It's not the AIFF top brass. The national team department at the moment. Shubroto needs to step up, but again, he doesn't have the experience. Technical committee is a disaster. Baichung saying big things now. And like, I'm Vijay. What have you guys done? You guys were great footballers, but you're not good administrators. That is the first reality of things that we need to realize, and that hurts. That hurts a lot. And the question is, when will we understand that? And to me, that's a big question mark at this moment in time on how things are happening. I saw one video of Nituda where Devoto Shaka of East Bengal FC states contribution from foreign coaches are nil. Indian football and domestic players are overpaid. Blue. Then my question to Nituda would be, with all due respect, what is your contribution to Indian football? Simple question. I don't need some contribution from a foreign coach or what. Other overpaid, yes, but you are also at fault for overpaying players. Didn't you overpay players in the NFL days, in the I League days? Of course you did. Even prior to those days. When you're not involved in East Bengal FC or East Bengal club when they used to overpay players as Kingfisher East Bengal? You did, right? So this thing, the ISL is maybe fast-paced the growth of the salaries of the explosion of the salary of the players, but the salaries of the players have been way too high for a while. I have no hopes from tomorrow's PC, and I want the same kind of low expectation levels from the fans. Nothing big is going to happen. But why is it not working there? ऐसा लगता है Federation don't want to progress national team. They just want what happened with club. How can rob more money from club and pickpocket on it? Yeah, the RG show. Maybe not. I don't know. Tomorrow is an opportunity for the so-called journalists to finally ask him some tough questions on agreed roadmap, the relegation and the league system to Vision 2027, 47 and youth league. Yeah, a very valid question, And for Mohun Bagan, they aren't even accountable for ban on own club, can't accept anything now. Blue, it is funny, when I asked over the weekend, it's like, what's the status of it? People were left, right, and center blaming me. I was like, guys, they're lying to you. There is no problem on the FIFA side. There is no problem on the FIFA side. It's a moment, and there is something bigger that has happened that no one wants to speak about. Overpriced players and reauctioning like IPL, Arrows, women's football downfall, how the committee selected coach from ISL, where this is very average league, and you are selecting someone for national team. Yeah, could be some of the questions. Today's disaster filled me with such deep grief and sorrow. May the soul rest in peace, and may Bhagwan give strength to the families to cope with this difficult situation. Yes, angry birds. What are the expectations for tomorrow press conference? Kalyan resignation, reigniting Vision 24/7 with new Chumra. Anupam, I have no expectation at all. If something happens, great. So let's see. Supporters asking Mohanbagan and Reddit club officials to lobby for a league-winning women's team. Totally against it. I'll be happy Mohanbagan start a U12 girls team and academy rather than a certain senior women's team. Polosh, I agree with you what you're saying, but the problem now is for the Mohanbagan fans is that the East Bengal women's team actually won something, right? So that is the problem, and that's the elephant now in the room. Yeah. So that's the thing. Still, after this much blunder, people don't want to accept the reality of Indian football. Again, very, very, yeah, So yeah, I appreciate Sagan of Chak their football efforts to push the social media narrative, but asking Chetri of his lack of transparency is not right, in my opinion. I don't think even Bhajan Bhutia made. Simon, look at the earlier videos and his accusations. Do they make sense? Who are they against? Who is he for? Just look through the narrative. Right, already more than 30 minutes. Didn't realize it. Quick reminder to all of you who are on this live at this moment. 37 of you. Good to see. If you like what you're hearing, do leave a like point. 21 likes so far. Share it with other people to join who want to really have an honest, direct conversation on Indian football. They're more than welcome to this. And if you're new, do subscribe. We're at 2,656. Subscribe to the channel and then ask your questions if you want to. And yeah, thanks as always, everyone, for your support. So what is your say on Rama when he can get Indian passport? Rama, at the moment, he will have 5 years. If he can apply now, but he's not going to get his passport in the next 3 years. That's the rule, except if the government fast tracks it. So therefore, good if he's done it. I don't know if he's done it. Yeah, Revelation is doing his time in Indian football. Okay. And last thing, can someone explain is to stop acting like a Robin Hood saving the problem is actually part of many problems himself, which if and when it comes out, he'll be no saint. He isn't. That's the reality. Don't need another inflated women league market. Yeah, Apollo, that's the danger. As a PR agent, let's not get into that. Leaps and bounds along Alex Division, third division. Yeah, I think Kalyan Chaubey announced tomorrow that there's a hope that's true. Yes, Raj. Also, so-called YouTubers started their agenda by targeting few players personally, but to be honest, those YouTubers never played for national teams, so they never can understand the things. Generally, there are two things. They don't need to have played for the national team. That's one, right? They don't even have to play football, but you need to understand certain things. Again, and this is something. This is something which is a problem. You can be a footballer. You can be even a national team player. It doesn't mean that you understand how things operate in you. And then there are other people who played no football, but they understand everything. That's the reality. Yeah. Right now, who has a better team in South Asia? Even if you ask me, most people would say most probably Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. I told you earlier that the senior team would qualify for Asian Cup. Bhaskar, yeah, you said, others have said it, but I also know it in some sort of way, but I'm still hoping that we can turn it around. This East Bengal Mohanbagan East Bengal rival has hurt us many ways, especially Mohanbagan for a time period. We've stopped looking beyond the derby. I don't want to go back to those times. Yeah, and the same thing is now with East Bengal. Very, very right. So let's see. Let's see. If you could change 3 things in your football policy-wise, what are those and why? Get the right leadership in the AIFF would be my first thing, if you ask me. I would think that it is very important to try and get the right leadership in place. Right leadership means also to me, I think I would change certain things within the AIFF. I would, for example, like a CEO. I would like the general secretary run, the president to just be there, and the CEO to actually work on the future of Indian football. That would be one. Second is OCI players getting involved. That would be the most important thing, I think, for the national team. And then I would look at the structure of club football and try to strengthen it and look at a 5 and 10-year plan. Where do we want to get to? At the moment, I think, as I've said multiple times, I think with 13 teams in the ISL, 12 teams in the I-League, we've got too many teams. I think at some stage we need to cut it down, run it maybe to 3 years and 5 years, and then start to grow, because at the moment we're not having enough players pushing up the system. So those would be 3 things. Being a football fan, mera atman toot gaya. Papadums. It's not easy to be an Indian football fan these days. 2000, a few European clubs asked one of the Indian analysts to scout players like Udanta List and Akash Mishra, but failed to attract interest as the player salaries was too high a side. Yeah. Shlomo, again, you named 3 players. Udanta in 2023 going abroad, no chance. Liston going in 2023 abroad, no chance. Akash Mishra, maybe, but again, the story looks very odd. What do you think about Bolivia football team? All players are 17, 18, some are 20, some are... I don't even know which Bolivia football team we're talking about, sorry. Hi, Anurag. Now we have an ex-player's head of AIFF. Maybe Bachchan sir gets the next job. How different do you think is being a football legend running a federation? Anurag, do you really believe that Bachchan has a chance to become president? My first question. Bhai is a good old friend, but I don't think being an ex-footballer means that you will be a good president or administrator. Have any of them studied sports management? Or maybe even worst case sports science? Or have they studied economics or something of that sort? Finance? You need certain skills to be in that position, right? Or you are exceptional talents who can do crazy things. And I look at, my favorite example is Franz Beckenbauer, who I was very lucky to know. Franz, a legend as a player, a legend even as a German head coach, Bayern coach, and then of course head of the organizing committee of the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Those are special characters, but I don't see any one of that characters in there. I need someone who's either, I need a politician who's interested in football, or a business guy who's interested in football, or a right football guy who can get things activated. Good that the viewers count is increasing 5 to 10 to 20 now. I was touching 50 were on the up. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, 48 people watching at the moment. Thanks for joining. Let's keep on growing the community, guys. That's, I think, the most important thing. I don't have a problem. As I said in the past, it used to be 5 or 10 of us used to do the same show. No problem with that. But the more watch, the more we can grow. Can we expect election to AIFF within this year? Guardiola, maybe. I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but could be. It's possible, right? People are coming after Indian football are growing, even SAI and our system are corrupted. See, the SAI thing is, if you think that the sports ministry and SAI are going to sort out the mess in the AIFF or the Supreme Court, I think they've created this mess. Someone should actually, take these guys and ask them, what have you done with Indian football, right? You wanted to improve Indian football, you've made matters worse. Reality. So therefore, right people, yeah. But who are the right people, Yashraj? Very simple. We need the right people. Most people who ask for boycott don't even follow us for most part. They follow European football for full time and asking us to not follow Indian football now. Some were even saying, let's invest in our sport, in other sport. Blue, that is disappointing to say the least. They don't even know how big football is compared to anything else. Yeah, I mean, it is a reality. And as I said, boycotting Indian football makes no sense. People come and go in AIFF, but they will never change the situation. All are corrupted. Akshay, not all. Right? That is the problem. Head coach job is not to develop players. Their job is pick, scout best player who fits the idea of the pitch, period. Anupam, you're saying something which is very important. And I will add to that. He's not pick. He doesn't work the do of the scout. The scouting is a different thing. As a coach, you have to realize who fits into the system. The scout's job is to say, listen, X, Y, Z, these are the pros, these are the cons, to make sort of a SWOT analysis and then give this to the sporting department and then for themselves. A coach, when he scouts players for the national team, saying, Does XYZ fit into my system? Do I like the guy? Don't I like the guy? That's also a factor, if we like it or not, right? It's not pure footballing. It's also, what is it kind of a character, this and that. I mean, if you see at the moment I don't know if you've heard the story about Robert Lewandowski at Poland, right? Where Robert Lewandowski was removed as the captain of Poland, and Robert Lewandowski then resigned. Supposedly the team was actually quite happy that he was gone. Then now the coach has resigned, and Lewandowski likely to come back, because why? Because the prime minister of the country got involved in the matter. So we're talking about Poland. We're not talking about India. So this is the problem, that a football dressing room matter should remain a football dressing room matter where the federation theoretically can get involved. But if the president of the country, when the prime minister of the country, when the media, the sports fans, everyone has a word in it, the outcome normally is not going to be good. That is part of our problem. What do you make of Manolo leaving? Augusto, I'll be honest, I'm a big Manolo fan as an ISL coach. I said, I hope he's successful with the Indian national team, but I had my fears at the time that will it work, will it not? So from that perspective, I think he was the wrong choice. I said that also last year when it happened, but I said I wanted to give him a chance. And he's proven to me that he's not understood what it needs to be a national coach and to pick the right side. That is where Manolo's fit. Sir, we should do Ego's team match back. Okay, Shokas. Luckily, you put those two laughing smileys to it. Papadam says, good one, Dada. Yeah. I was saying this in every platform that it's superior to ask Indian coach like Khalid, coaches like Tonika, Ansesa, they were coach pitcher, everyone can be in budget, have national team experience. Shruto, let's see what the AIFF does. I've lost all trust in this current AIFF, and therefore, let's wait and see what happens. I heard news where national team asked due payment from AIFF too. Actually, yes, they have, but yeah. So therefore, which is wrong, but again, these are small figures, I think. Yeah. I remember saying very dark days incoming after the AIFF court case and the AIFF still contract issues, and we're probably seeing the worst days in football history. Devo, I said that, and I always said, I fear that this situation would arise. And yeah, I tell you, and I tell us this again and again. Watch world of videos over the last 2 years. I said it 2 days after the final of the SAF championship, right? That my I hope to be wrong, but I've got enough knowledge, experience. Raja Parag is also in the banner of presidency as a sub-representative shared. All South nations are at the bottom too. All. Yeah. Except Sri Lanka. Nobody won in the last match round. Sir, but our game pace is very slow in ISL as well as national team. This game pace is not the factor. Let the game pace be like this. If we had someone to score goals, we would not be speaking about game pace. People talked trash about Gurpreet. Now his training is off so that he can return to national team rather than enjoying holiday during off season. Hannibal, yeah, it's our mistake. Time to trust Khalid via Sanjay sir. Shomo, before those two become coach, I don't have a license, but I would rather trust myself than those two. I don't need a license. Yeah. Silence for those who lost their lives in plane crash. Very sad. And fate on my prayers for 250 families who lost their loved ones. I hope we will not see such a future. Yeah. Agree. But the reality is these kind of incidents once in a while will happen somewhere. Do you miss the Constantine days? The great Amal Dutta used to say you can't cook biryani with aloo masala. Stephen understood the quality of his roses with them optimally. Rita Brother, yes, I do. And I do also miss the directness, the openness of a Stephen Constantine, right? Which a lot of people hated. but I think which was needed. And having facilitated Stephen joining us in 2002, I know what kind of a character he is, and I think that's what's needed. Frankly, OCIPA was our only hope. If close to 70 years of so-called grassroots has given us 0 world-class players, it's better to go for OCIPA players. Yeah, Ishan. I think the word grassroots didn't even exist 20, 25 years ago. Or now the all Kolkata legacy clubs only point fingers on other when you ask what you did to the football. They say we have legacy, nothing else and nothing more. Yeah, come on, that's the problem. Biggest S show was our U17 player scout and their quality except 3 players. Everyone is wasteful. Shomo, the under 17 team with all its problems, without scouting, we were better. Or actually, no, forget it. In 2001, I'll tell you a nice story. So I'd organized the first ever camp for an Indian under 17 team in 2002 here in Germany with the help of the German Football Association. This came about because a friend of mine introduced me to Islam Akhmedov, who was at the time under 16, under 17 coach. And Islam said, you know what, I traveled around India and I picked up a few boys. I went to Tata Football Academy. I picked up the best, but I'm not getting the exposure. Try and help me to do a camp for the under 17s. This is, I can, and I saw them in the AIFF Shield as under 16s, impressed. And I said, okay, let's try and see. And I spoke to Albert Kolasa at the time, secretary. We spoke to the German FA. We worked it out, right? And they were there. I was impressed. We played a 16-year-old Lukas Podolski at FC Cologne against us. 3-3 draw. Yeah, we were as good, if not better. So these things have happened, right? So therefore, by the way, as you make the video about blame game, how Mohan fans clubs are defending own players is utter shame. Less absolutely BS is happening. Blue, I didn't go to that extent. Again, I could do another thing and then say, I mean, there are people who are trying to tell me that Anwar Ali played a good game and that I don't like Anwar Ali. That's why I said, guys, I don't care, who is my friend or not, who I like or don't like. I will tell my friends even more on their face that you're not good. I once had with a senior player of the current team a conversation, and the guy said, you know what, I remember you tweeted something about us and especially about me. And he then spoke to his agent about it, and his agent, who is a friend of mine, said, you know what, if Ornavo is saying that, most probably he's right. So when I spoke to that person, that guy and I had a laugh about it. But I said, listen, the next time you play bad, I will say you played bad. When you play well, I will compliment you more. But when you play bad, I have the freedom to criticize you because I have nothing against anybody personally. For me, it's about the right 11 players starting the game and the right substitutes coming on. That's the only thing that I want to talk about. But Anwar Ali, I have seen as a 15, 16, 17-year-old kid here in Germany, like a Suresh, like an Amarjeet, like Dheeraj, Sanjeev Stalin, Aman Chetri was part of that squad. All the others. And a lot of these boys have disappeared. Let me just quickly go through that under 70 World Cup squad. There's let me just quickly squads. Yeah, right. So let me go through the squads, and that is something where I say is like, ooh, guys, you know what? This hurts because yeah, it is not something which even if I'm looking at the German team, right? Some really good names, but very few of them have actually make it as a pro. Jan-Orik Bissell, who's with Inter Milan, is most probably the biggest name in that squad, right? And if I go, where is the India squad? So therefore, that's something which has not worked for us, right? So therefore, that is something disappointing to say the least. But we've not been able to do what we needed. I'm going through it. Dheeraj has not been able to get to that level. Boris, yeah. Jitendra, ISL player. Anwar, Sanjay Stalin, Suresh, Nongthongba Mitai, Amarjit Kian, Aniket Jadhav, Abhijit Sarkar, Komal Thattal, Henry Antone, Apuya, Rahim Ali, Jikson, Nongdongba Naurem, lot expected, Rahul KP, Namit Deshpande, Mohammed Shahjahan, Prabsugan Singh Gill, and Sunny Dhaliwal. That's the 21-player squad. Also, Pierre, not sustainable is the still argument with the number of players of Indian as well playing abroad and future players will always have players. Ishan, once you stop, that is one-way traffic. Yeah. So, yeah. Kamal Vision 2047 का declare करना मजा Jimmy Babu is a clown, says Abhishek Bhatt. Okay. Even an origin player playing in third, fourth division Europe will always have better basics than a homegrown players. Our basics are non-existent. Ishan, forget third, fourth. I can tell you that 6th division FC Remscheid, our players have better technique, tactical awareness, and some of them better physicality than our Indian national team. I'm talking FC Remscheid. I'm not even talking 4th, no 5th. I'm talking 6th tier of German football. Yes, Mohammad Subhajan management is lying. There is no problem at the FIFA clearinghouse. Portugal Sushmita has confirmed it on his personal capacity. Mohammad Subhajan management is spreading misinformation to Boryada. See, and that's the problem. Even big platforms are part of this PR agenda, right? What's your take on club owner speaking against overpriced salaries? Is FSA also to blame for this? Each team has a limit of 18 crore, and we all know clubs went above and beyond with no repercussions. Anupam, the salary cap is a nice thing on paper, I don't think a salary cap in India works. I honestly do not believe that it works because the clubs could then work around and say, listen, I'm going to give you a contract here, I'm going to give you a contract there, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. There are means and ways of working around it. And they would, it's something that I don't think that the FSA, it's on the clubs, On one side, they're cribbing, you know what, we're losing money. On the other side, you're willing to pay these salaries. So, tomorrow's AIFF press conference, major motors, what's your thing? Siddhant, I've given up on thinking, wasting time. Let's hear what they have to say, and then we can talk tomorrow. No, tomorrow evening I can't. I'll make a video, miss for Saturday, or this or that. Can we expect U23 to qualify Asian Cup? They are new young players. Yashaj, I would hope, but I don't know. Shaunatha, hi. Yeah, sorry. Now the future is almost uncertain. That ever, and as usual, Kangesh will plan 2 days, and now tomorrow he will ignore answers. Let's see what he does. I think we are virtually out of the AFC Asian Cup. Only the top team goes through. We are the weakest we have been in the last 7 years. Hope against hope, but I don't know. Hey, brother, met you in 2012-ish when Godwin and Nirmal went for pre-season training with Fortuna Düsseldorf. Hope you're doing well. Yes, want to hear your thoughts on Igor Stimacz's leadership. AC, hi. I honestly don't want it. Igor Stimac is a big disappointment. And I'll tell you why. Because I met him in 2019. Long conversations in Guwahati and a very long evening in Doha after the 0-0 draw against Qatar. And yeah, it was a very honest, frank discussion on things. I liked a lot of things that he said at the time. But afterwards I felt, nice talk, but can you follow it up with action? Right? And that is what since COVID, something has happened. I don't know what has happened. But when someone in Indian football context talks about possession football, I get very nervous because that's for me very, very unlikely to work. So, I don't know. We'll see Kalyan resign. Vignesh, I don't know what to believe tomorrow. Let's wait and see. I've given up to speculating because I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly do not know. East Bengal fans are currently blaming Mohun Bagan, but back in days when we didn't have money, one or other, you probably know how they threw coins at us and called us Bhikari. Angry Birds, this is, again, it's not a one-sided story. It's when East Bengal does something wrong, it's not their fault. When Mohun Bagan does something wrong, it's not their fault. Everybody else is to blame. And this is both sets of fans, and I'm not forget both. A lot of Indian fans, even if you're blaming the Blasters, right? And Ivan Vukovic walked off. I still call it. I called it out that day. It was a mistake. You don't walk off, right? So my question is, when will the Kolkata fans, when will Indian football fans, right? Even certain, as I said, Blasters fans, BFC fans, other fans don't want to hear that their clubs is doing wrong. Criticize. When they're doing well, praise, but they need to be open to and when they're not open to criticism, they know they don't introspect and there's no accountability, like in the AIFF. Frankly, the Uzbekistan decision around qualifying for World Cup is silly. YouTube is quoting their previous rankings if they haven't had players playing in Europe for many decades. Ishan, it shows you the lack of knowledge and the lack of understanding football. 95 Uzbekistan, India 97. Does that mean we are as good as or were as good as Uzbekistan? So what are we talking about? You know? So yeah, I don't know. Uzbekistan has been having players, great players, and our comparison with them doesn't work. Will the journalists be allowed to directly question AIFF on tomorrow's press conference? I don't know. India and press conferences days and open questions, I don't know. Or they're handpicked. For example, I hope that Ashish Negi tomorrow is there. Let's see if Ashish, for example, is there. Ashish will ask direct questions. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. No, I think it's very right. Players like this, whoever after 50 matches doing horrible things, players like Kate simply is not pressure absorber. Trying to question his clubs destroyed players. Every club is destroying players around the world in some sort of form and they're making players. So this argument doesn't buy it. I don't buy it. Can we apply the Swiss model? We have 10 teams, if I'm not wrong, and there'll be 30 plus matches of playing thrice a season. Yeah, Simon could be an answer. In the previous live stream, I asked the question, but I left the stream later. So can you please answer once more for me fast? Advise where I should still follow Indian football. Where you should follow Indian football. Listen, follow the right platforms, right? We've spoken about Kale now. Follow Hiren or Curious Harry. Follow Akshata if you follow a little bit of women's football. Indian football, women's football is a Twitter handle. Yeah, there are some. If India lose to Bangladesh with huge margin, maybe with 3 or 4, then we must hope something. I don't know if that makes a difference. Some YouTubers forgot Uzbek were part of Soviet and there was a ready-made system which just need to be updated with date and time. It's really surprising that it took them so long. Angry Birds, it didn't take them so long. They were the underperformers of Asian football, right? So that's the thing. Going to scouting OCI PIO honestly doesn't feel like we're gabbing in the dark. No, we're not. Papa Dance. I've given the AIFF multiple lists over the last 24 years of who to speak to, not to speak to. Troy was true about Indian scouting, got to know from very famous Indian scout based out of Belgium. Yeah, but none of the clubs at that level would have looked at Indian talent. Forget the money part. We're not good enough. Look at how much even Nepal has grown. We're no longer the clear favorite of SAF. Ishan, that's the problem. What do you want to happen at tomorrow's press conference? What do you think will happen? I would do two things. If you ask me what would be the ideal scenario, Kalyan Chaubey resigns tomorrow. He calls on the executive committee to also resign in a special body meeting. Says that speak to the Supreme Court, speak to FIFA, and most probably say FIFA put in a temporary body in. Not put it without a ban and normalization committee and like what's been happening in Pakistan for the last 5-6 years. I think that might be the best option. Is it going to happen? No, I don't think so. Manolo resigning, yeah, and then get in temporary certain people to run the game and then organize it. That would be, if you ask me, that would be the best case scenario. Is it going to happen? No, it's not. From the last match, I understood Liston into 90-minute play. His performance drops off at 60-minute. Would have been better to place instead of Ashik and Miss for creativity. Sahal has had a terrible season, right? And therefore, and coaches are unhappy with him because you can't put him into a working system. You need to run in a system. Sahal is a terrible, tactically the worst of the lot. Technically the best, one of the best. Yeah. What constitutional reforms you want to see in info? Will the Supreme Court intervene in this matter deeply? Simon, the problem is that the constitution that the Supreme Court is producing is a waste of time because it gives more powers to the players, and the players are not the people who I want to be controlling. I want the clubs to be involved. I think there needs to be, so yeah. You are getting popular 40 plus live. Keep it up, Aruna. Thanks, Kishore. I always thank you and others for the support. Do we even have the budget for foreign coach? I think so. If you're able to offer $50,000 to the Indian team for a one-off match, I think we do have a little bit left. Mandat Tamane, as CEO of Indian football, your take, who would you pick otherwise could live up to your expectations? Yeah, Mandat, good name. I don't think Manda will do it. And if you want CEO of the AIFF, yeah, and he's stuck with Manda, and then I don't even get far. I don't have any. Yeah. Maybe as I said earlier, jokingly, I'll take up the national team job. Maybe I'll take the CEO job as well in the AIFF. Let's see. Rohan Raja Gopal, 16-year-old guy, signed for an MLS first team. Wow, great. Who was your man of the match according to you in your Thailand game? Who was our I think the Thai centre back, the Italian sounding name, he would have been my man of the match. We don't have a full-time analyst Pakistan if it has. Srishanto, yeah. These are things of problems. People discuss it, nice is an issue. We are struggling with even bigger basics at the moment. Or say any update, Rushwa, nothing. Even if we had cleared payments beforehand, they would have performed the same. Yeah, Zidane, it doesn't matter. All of this doesn't matter. So we need a coach at least with international experience, national team. Yeah, Srishanto, I totally agree with you. Indian football is asleep in South Asia. Rushwa, at the moment it looks like it. So how do you still have hope in football? Frankly, it is Rakman, given what you've contributed both financially and otherwise. Ishan, I always have hope that something or the other will happen and we will turn things around. It's a challenge for me, for you, for all of us. But I always say never stop supporting. Yeah. So for me, that's the challenge for us to try and figure out what are we going to do, how we're going to improve, and what and as long as I see even a 0.1% chance of some things going in the right direction, I will still try and help and support as much as I can. Sri Lanka win FIFA. Yes, Rushwa, they did. So why can't we learn from Odisha? They were passionate about hockey, made the best hockey state in the world. Pulled both our men women's team to bronze in 4th place Olympics. Top of them is because hockey is a small sport compared to football. You have 15, if I'm happy, maybe 12 nations playing properly. So you coach, add me also in your team. Yeah, Mayank, I will only add my friends and my, let's say my genuine followers to this. The gulf quality between Sunil and the next available striker became evident when Sunil came on during the second half. His touches, control, and through balls are a cut above the rest. Yeah, Nishan, that's the reality. And still he's getting a lot of hate because he didn't score. Someone said this is the worst day. No, you have not seen enough of Indian football yet. Or now, I would reckon worst day was when evil MRA signed. Worst day when team like Guam beat us. Shubhato, yes. The second one, I agree. Like Guam was big. I think the worst day was when India got banned by FIFA. And the MRA sign, I think, was a good day, right? But, there were the right people who wanted to do things and it didn't happen. Hi, Abhishek. Cheti is the center of attraction and you don't want to score goals and also want to stay in national team. You cannot even complete a drill when they're talking about. Zidane, you're too critical about Sunil, in my opinion. If Nicola had stayed as coach, these players could have developed. Sushant, I think we would have played a better under 17 World Cup. That is what I know. Singapore has beaten Bangladesh as surprised. Not really. I felt there was too much hype around Bangladesh after that India draw. Why Edmund had no time even in today's games? Santhya, that's a question to ask Manolo Marquez. I don't know. You agree India U20 women not playing in South U20 Championship? No, I don't. We should take every chance to play our youth teams. Malaysian fans put up banners for protesting with naturalized players that really do no context what they're protesting. Will it be same here? I don't know. See, Malaysia has a certain level of a football culture in their local system. But again, if anyone is protesting about naturalized players not playing for them, then I would say, guys, we were talking about, in my opinion, the wrong thing, right? Manish Pravina allows 3 foreign players in starting 11 and 4 signings, if I'm not wrong. Also, SAF and Afghanistan is not under foreign quota. Do you see Indian young players trying their luck in BPL? Anupam, I think the one and the other feeling youngster might go, but I don't see the best youngsters going because the money's not the same. Gurpreet, Roshan, Bath, Jingan, Adrian, Kela, Jan, Apuya, Ryan, Andre, Williams. What's your name? Could have been, you're saying not Williams. Sakaria can't play for us, Simon. Manpreet Sakaria has played an official qualifier for Austria, so he's no longer eligible. Forget Uzbekistan. Each and every Central Asian team is better than India, even though Uzbekistan is physically and technically better. I think every Asian team is better than us at the moment, it looks like. Maybe except Maldives and Bhutan. Coming to the questions, do you think that there is even slight chance that we could see major changes in football in coming months, like OCI's introduction, player salaries, and good coach? Reduction in salary, don't think so. OCI's is not a short-term thing. I think it will take time. And good coach, I don't know, define a good coach. Don't you think all the state FA president of the committee should also resign? No, not all. XYZ, because there's some good ones in between. I like the FA Nations League despite the criticism. I joined it. It is like Euros with lesser signals, but to competitive, nothing less. Yeah. It started off somewhat of a joke, but it's become better. There's Bakum opinion, good coach, national team. Bushwa has never coached the national team, so therefore, I think we need a coach who isn't afraid to drop players in second place who are continuously performing well. Navneet, that is not my criteria. A good coach is someone who understands players are competent enough to play international football. That is the challenge for the coach. Yeah. So that is, to me, what the coach needs to figure out, and that's a huge challenge in my opinion. Right, nearly 1 hour and 10 minutes. Quick reminder: if you're liking what you're hearing, do leave a like behind. 42 likes today. Thank you very, very much. Share it with others to join us. Let's keep on growing this community who are, forward thinking, want to change things for the good of Indian football. Then do subscribe to the channel. 2,661 at this moment. Thank you to all those of you who are new, and of course to the old ones as well, and keep supporting the channel, and let's grow it, put it out there. One of the few, I think, here who is trying to tell you what is the reality of things. Is OCIPO players coming? Couple, at the moment there's no clarity. Sal was in his peak in Juan Fernando's 3-5-2 system, but since due to injuries and change in mobile formation tactics, and coaches kind of made it problematic for him to adopt, as you just said it. Yeah, he's not the best at that. He's technically very good, but putting on a system, I remember Elko Shatori used to go nuts. And Elko Shatori has spoken about it. Manveer Singh is a total waste in national team. He plays in right wing. We've got better wingers than him in the Thailand game. He couldn't even sprint, get the ball. He returned, the ball went out. Yeah, enough need, but name me the better ones, right? Then you say Changte. Changte was all not good. And the others are not international level. Manveer Singh was passing to opponent players in Thailand match. Yeah. Aman. Nowadays, already popular, at least in football circles around the globe. We know him. He's the first guy who committed football data as per from like RSSF. It's why we do the same there. Thanks, Shurata. Good to hear that. Ashish Negi said he don't want POS players and PO आने से भी कुछ नहीं होगा. As that's again, that is his opinion. My opinion is totally different. So again, I don't need to agree with this, or no one needs to agree with me. Everyone can have their own opinions. To me, OCI is at all levels. This is the fun one, I say. At all levels, get people of Indian origin across the board, and you'll see the success in 3 to 5 years, if not earlier. Get the people in the system out. It's possible AIFF can make criteria for ISA club regarding domestic player salary. No, they can't. And Yashraj, even if they made, the players will get the money somewhere else through a different channel, this, that, everything. There's always a way. Sir, can we auction Indian players like IPA, PK for ISA with the limited budgets, and Indian players are not paid much? Because no Indian players deserve more than 20 lakhs. Base price should be 1 lakh. Varun, we had in 2014 an auction and with fixed salaries in the ISL, and somewhat the same thing happened when the league expanded with BFC and with Jamshedpur coming in. But at 20 lakhs, not happening. How long do you think these guys will take this blame game or diversion eventually as a climax? Hopefully this changes stores. If not, these clans will take this last to 2031. Well, then things have to change, no? Have you seen anything change so far? I don't think so. Please, POS are only short-term solutions. Real difference will be when we have real good grassroots system in the age group. Every competition. Navneet, the problem is that I think that if you're waiting for grassroots development to happen and things to change in Indian football, that's not happening, in my opinion, anytime soon. So therefore, for me, OCIs are not short-term solution. It's a long-term solution. If you start with it, you're going to get more and more of them. Look at like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They're literally greedy to get everybody in who has a foreign origin because they realize at least they're good in their basics. And I think also the quality of training and the team, is better. Hi, City looks like India's not strongest team even at South Asian level. It's a question that can be asked. I don't think their fans are protesting on natural. I think they're diploma at the FA for the lack of investment to grassroots, the same problem which could be persistent in Indian football, I guess. Yeah. I think you missed my comments. D, if I missed it, please post it again. What the criteria to get Indian passport for a foreign player? A foreigner will never get an Indian passport. So there is no criteria. So Durand Cup being an all Indian players tournament is a good move, but why this year is not doing it? Because the clubs, if you make an all-Indian, what's the value? Tell me what the value is. The quality is going to go there. Yes, Sakaria's chance is gone. Same for Mohammed Tamsheed, the Qatari playing for other. Yeah, he's there. Sarpreet Singh playing for New Zealand, So yeah. Yet the drivers have applied. Enough. There's been rumors, I don't know. The supply is less and demand is more. Demand is more for quality and player. Who do you see fulfilling demand? There is a potential business for this. How do you Northeast United sees MOU with industry? See, the demand is there, but who's going to fulfill it? It's not on one club to do it. It has to come across the system. Because the election is mostly from ISIS, so until players like Hardy, Nongri, Kingstar, Kashong, or has come up to ISIL, there's no point. But Ronnie has been signed by FC Goa. But Vashwar, honestly, if someone is unable to break through in the ISIL, does he deserve to play in international football? So that would be my question. I lost all hope, says Akash. Would Rylands play for India? Ronak, I have no clue. He might want to, but yeah. Latest East Bengal transfer news. I have not heard anything. Breaking news, I'm asking where this news, and that means it's not true, unfortunately. Yeah, that's something. Let's see, yeah. Along with having international exposure training for players, started program for grassroots coaches, having a sport exchange program. I know it's a far-fetched idea. No, it's not a far-fetched idea, but you know, so that's the thing. I don't know why and how did we lose Komal Thatal and Nongdom Bannar? Just hard luck. Are they not good enough for ISL or just agency stuff? Washwar, to some extent, some of the. I mean, we lost earlier a guy called Aman Chetri who didn't even play at the Under-17 World Cup. He had from right, he broke his leg, I think. Yeah, I think in 2017 he broke his leg and seemed to have never recovered from that. So he's one. Nongdomba Naurem and Kumar Thatal, I think, yeah, signing for wrong clubs because of the money. So it's not an agency nexus. It's sometimes even the players wanting the money rather than knowing where to go, and then never got back into that. I think Komal Thatal was also overhyped during the Under-17 World Cup, right? And no, because of that exceptional goal against Shillong Lajong in the I-League for the Arrows. So the question is, were they really that good? Now, if we think long-term, most probably not. Yeah. So this is the thing. Thought about this Mac when saying 6-1 is to be the starting 11, 10 could be signed. It was better. His quality was better. It didn't have much competition, says Debu. Yeah. Allow the OCIs not only international but also allow them to play in the ISL as individuals. Indians by default as well add with more foreigners. This will make the Indians to get out of their comfort zones. Do you think they will go out of their comfort zones? This is something which a lot of people are saying. I don't think they will. They rather take a little bit less money but be happy here. Tomorrow's press conference, Mr. Jobe starts with saying he's resigning. Let's see what he does. I think the breakthroughs are so much agency and all depends on actual proper scouting deserving spots. Mashwar, we don't have a proper scouting system. Someone talking and saying we have a scouting system in Indian football is saying something which doesn't exist. So that is our first problem. Naurem and Tattoo could have been wonder kids, but turned out to be in the long list. Nobody's shame, says Simon Yam. But just didn't bruise the players 15, 16 stars. Why is winning got their cups, etc. But there's no matches for them to travel further in India. Yeah, but what are you playing Gothia? What is the Gothia Cup? The Gothia Cup is a grassroots football. It's not a high end. Where have the teams beaten any top academies or something? It's a grassroots football tournament. You could have played last weekend here in Remscheid. Same thing. I think those boys have something in them to win the Gothia Cup, even though it isn't the best tournament there. EF winning the Gothia Cup winning has no value. I can put a team together tomorrow here in Remscheid and it could win the Gothia Cup. What value has it? These guys will never be pros. That's the level of the football. It's a grassroots tournament. Government wants to host Olympics in 2036. Do you see government prioritizing in football to save face in national community as football is a global sport? Could this reason be the igniter? Anupam, does the government really want to do the Olympics or just saying it? Would be my first question. And if football was a priority for the Olympics, they've started prioritizing sports for the Olympics. Football is not on the list. What do you think about tomorrow press conference? What will happen? Aryan, I've said this multiple times today. I don't know. It could be something crazy, saying, "Yeah, I resign. Tada, bye bye," or Manuru has resigned, or justifying things. Anything is possible. What is the agency next? I can explain. If people are saying that agents and people within clubs are deciding which players to put here, put there. Now, you have to remember that agents and the sporting directors or head of footballs, even clubs in Europe, run under that system, right? Very often you say, oh, this scout, that scout, whatever scout. No, they've got agents also going around. So it is a problem, yeah, but it's a problem with international football lives with. Yes, Aman was the initial captain of the Under-17 World Cup. Batch before Aman, but when he recovered, he did decent for Chennai FC Reserve and Arrows. Once again, gone underground. He was great before Amarjeet. Yeah, Vashwat, I love the player. Lovely striker, nice boy. Yeah. How are young players pulled in the agency nexus? If you wanna, and it's not in India. Um, Agents are part of the game if I like it or not. If you like it or not, if other people like it or not. And in Europe, even agents are deciding factors to where go on around the world, actually. So this nexus that they call is, again, if you're a young player, you're decently talented, not overly talented, you'll get an agent and he'll try to help to place you somewhere. That's the rule of the game. That there are nexuses between agents and they say that certain top agents, for example, say, oh, this top agent is linked very much to Real Madrid, and that agent is linked to Barca, and that agent is linked to United or City or whatever. Or, oh, Pep buys players from that and all. Happens around the football world. Good that Vijay and Som have taken some baby steps to Europe and Americas. Yeah, let's hope they succeed. Some people on X creating unnecessary hate towards Sunil Chhetri like he's supposed to about it, and everybody else are being employed. Your thoughts over if you've seen it. Udipto, it is trying to justify something, and it's a blame game. People are trying to blame Sunil for everything that is bad, and again, Sunil has come out of retirement, so here the under-70 ranking rule for players in Europe is no more. Why can't OCS take up passports? AIFF, there is no under-70 rule in Europe. It was just in the United Kingdom. So it's not here in Europe. So I don't know who told you that. OCIs can take a passport, but if you're not living in India, it takes you 10 to 12 years to get an Indian passport. So that's the problem. Then what about this? Classify all the Indian players by ratings. Them like 5-star, 4-star, like a 5-star player will have no salary cap. Best in player first, may one goal. They will not work. Nice idea, but it will not work. A football is like unnecessary of top division, second division. Case going on. Third tier clubs don't have money and national team is down. Still we love our football. Yeah. Ryan Williams passport update. Siddhant, I don't know if there is a story or not. Ryan Williams is not eligible. I don't expect much from tomorrow. If probably he'll just try to justify his mismanagements. That's why Aditya, I said even expect positive negatives. Yeah. What can we do as a fan of Indian football to create an impact? I see no concerted effort or someone to channel all the pressure this creates all stakeholders. She's the biggest he has seen. Anupam, I think social media pressure is nice. But the question is, what impact does it have? Right? To me, our biggest problem at this moment in time is when we talk about an impact on putting pressure on the AIFF and on the system, it's nice. And we've now seen, even certain people coming out and speaking about things and saying, oh, this and that and everything. But I don't think anything has changed. अगर आशीष सर आएगा प्रेस मीट में then मजा आएगा. Siddhant, let's hope. I wish Ashish is there. Sunil Chhetri is now the soft target. In fact, he's still creating chances, pressing, but it's sad that he's having to still do that. We failed, right? Not him. Yeah. Yes. A right analysis, Vasher. 100% right. Why is Kerala putting this fact about Ryan Williams? Then the man has come out and said he has no clue. I don't know. You have to ask them. I am not linked to them. I'm not them. And again, not everything that you get as an info is right. People who are playing Sunni is not Indian football fans. First, second, they lack of knowledge, lacks in Indian football. Once being a fan, you can be angry, but you can't pull out the skin from a player. Yeah. If Karanchova have Sanishina, he has two options: bring Pierre Osea or resign. S. Das, bringing Pierre Osea is not on Kalyan Chauba, it's on the government. Kalyan is not the government. And resigning, do you think he really will resign tomorrow? I don't know. I don't expect it tomorrow. Good night, Simon. Yes, no, tomorrow I will not be doing live. Tomorrow I'll be playing football again myself for charity. So there for that, and I'll be back most probably on Saturday. Chobe gonna give Osai to play soon. Comment tomorrow's race to keep us happy. Yeah, let's see. Any idea what time the press conference where we can watch it? I don't know if it's gonna be streamed anywhere. So let's wait and see what comes out of it. Do you think Indian demographic is an issue for Indian football growth? Tall players of North, short players North, these different playing style, the club, Channel 1 and logistics. Anupam, that in context of no, I don't think so. This is again I feel a get out of jail card. I don't think it's a problem. This height, and if you see in recent past, players are I don't know. It's not a thing. Right, 1 hour 26 minutes. Let me come to an end today. It's been another good intense session. Let me see what Garen Rest says. Nothing gonna happen tomorrow. He will give us lollipop of coach sacking, some vision talks, no sad talks, nothing more than that. Garen, let's wait and see. Also, he made wrong facts as when Goswami got Tottenham contract, but he didn't go, etc. But he's only got a call for trial. That too rumored. We never know what happened. Again, Blue. As far as I know, someone said Tottenham could be interested in a trial. If I understood, let me try and get this story together. What did the late Tuni Goswami says? There was someone with UK contacts who I think suggested his name to Tottenham, that he was a great player in the 50s. And Tottenham said, again, if I get it right, if I understood it right at the time, and he could come over to Tottenham and trial, and if they liked him, they would have taken him. So was there an offer from Tottenham? I don't know. And David Germany was kind of struggling, losing finals and performance and deeply construct all stress and Germany. Yeah, Debu, that's the point. That's the point. No, there is no salary cap on German players. Whoever said that is wrong. And comparing Juni's Sir's time with Sunil is so weird. Even compared today, 10 years ago, I would have easily gotten over summer's trials for Indian players. Very good, very sad, difficult today. And sarcasm apart, guess what? Even Rajasthan League actually has 2-3 great players who didn't even come out of the league yet. 2 years ago, spotting a few. Yeah, that's also a fact. That is just sad. We live on a lot of rumors and a lot of facts that people have told us, and this has happened, that has happened. So that's not working. Thank you for taking all the questions. Appreciate it. Welcome, Anupam. And I'll take this as the last one from Aryan Grassroots. So, Rotten, last 10 years, not seen any activity from FC Goa in my area. It was not like this before. Sagao Kesi would go regular training for free. Now nobody plays football. Yeah, that's also a problem. Goa, for example, big problem. Goa is a big problem. You know? There used to be something, and the smaller clubs used to do stuff. So therefore, yeah. This was probably the one. I don't think the day pay model will work in India because the day pay model works in Germany. We need to develop an Indian model. What should you do if you were president of AIFF, present situation, team? Appoint the right coach. Appoint the right coach. And finally, I'll do something. If I am the president of the AIFF, the first training session of the Indian national team back, I would actually be wearing my football boots, put on shorts, put on a jersey, and actually hang out around the training session, do some pep talks and do that. This is one thing which I thought was right from Kollam, but again, I don't know how it went because I've heard it was not inspirational. It was rather boring. That is, you need inspiration. You need to touch them in the heart. That is something lacking with these guys. And now I will end this, Devo, I'll do it in one of the next ones because that's going to take me another 5 minutes. Most probably try and explain to create a model. Ending this today. Thanks as always for following once more. Like, share, and subscribe. Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com. And yeah, let's keep on growing the community. As I said, tomorrow no live, and most probably back on Saturday. And then we can talk once more about Indian football. Looking forward to the press conference tomorrow. What comes out of it? Let's see. Maybe if I got earlier a little bit of time to maybe do something. But I'm a little tied up tomorrow. But if there is any live thing happening, maybe I'll do a short live after the press conference. Let me see what happens. Right. Once again, like, share, subscribe. Arunfoot, you're on YouTube.
Visit my other social media, arunfoot.com. This is Naval Chaudhary, signing off. Goodbye.